Hi, I'm Irene Alexander, and if you've been praying, hoping, or trying to figure out how to bring tenderness and closeness back into your marriage, you are exactly in the right place. In this short training, I'm going to show you how women, even in really struggling marriages, are reigniting the tenderness and emotional intimacy with their husbands in as little as 10 minutes without telling him what he needs to fix or change. You'll learn the one shift that instantly melts away the distance, invites connection, and awakens his deepest desire to love and cherish you, even if right now he seems really distracted or defensive or distant or just shuts down. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why every approach that you have tried so far, like the honest communication, like trying to get him to listen and understand, the requests, the counseling, suggesting he sees a therapist, all of these things have not worked the way that you hoped that they would, and how a very simple change in how you express your heart can completely transform your relationship. So take a deep breath, open your heart, and imagine that tender connection that you have longed for because it is closer than you think. Let's begin. So I want to start by saying that I see you. Okay, you have poured your heart into your marriage. You have prayed for closeness. You've read the books, tried the advice, maybe even gone to counseling or couples counseling. You've done everything that you know how to do to make it better, right? And yet still it's not working. Still something feels missing. Instead of having tenderness, there's tension. Instead of feeling pursued and adored and that everything is just flowing so easily, you feel frustration and there's fights and arguments, and ultimately you maybe feel like just roommates. And instead you want that tender connection, right? Not conflict. But the more you keep trying to work on the relationship, the more distant it seems to get. Now I know that ache because I've lived it too. So for years I thought that the key to a good marriage was just having all of this honest communication. Like if we could just talk about it, we can diagnose what's happening and then we can fix it, right? So I tried to have all these like honest and what I thought were honest and respectful conversations about what I needed, what wasn't working, what he needed to do to make me feel loved, right? But every single time, and no matter how gentle I was or kind tone or whatever, my husband would shut down and he would get defensive or withdrawn, and I would end up feeling more alone than before. And like quite frankly, it made no sense. Like I was trying to love him better, I was being really clear with him, right? But somehow what I was saying and doing were actually making things worse, although I didn't realize it. Now, everything changed for me when I discovered that men respond to a completely different language, right? One that actually touches their innermost hearts. And when I began to speak that language, I saw just an instant change. All of a sudden, he softened toward me. He wanted to protect me. He wanted to make me laugh and smile. He wanted to please me and to draw close to me and was really attentive to my needs and desires. And I thought, whoa, like, could it really be this simple? And I began sharing what I learned with other women, initially friends or whoever would hear. And then I started working with clients, right? And even women whose marriages actually were really, really in a bad place and seemed somewhat hopeless. But the results were miraculous. So, for example, one woman's husband moved back home after they had been separated for months. Another woman told me, you know what? Now he looks at me the way that he did on our wedding day. So beautiful. And that's when I realized this isn't luck. This is the psychology of intimacy. And it's the way that God designed marriage to work by each spouse, husband and wife, actually fulfilling the core desire of each other's hearts. So here's what I finally understood. When we tell our husbands, here's what you need to do differently, even if we mean it kindly, he doesn't hear like this is guidance or us sort of expressing our needs. What he hears is, you are not good enough for me the way that you are, unless you change. And I don't see you right now as being capable until you change. Right. And once that message takes root, his heart closes. He protects himself because that core message is essentially saying, kind of like in man language, I don't love you. Like, even if that's not what you physically are saying, that's what he hears. Okay. Why? Because for a man, seeing in your eyes that you think he's capable, that's how he feels loved. That's what it means to respect him. Right. But so when you learn this language of of saying, I believe in you. I see the wonderful man that I married. I'm grateful for the good that you bring. Boom. His heart opens instantly. Okay. The walls come down, and the tenderness just returns, right? There's no more fighting. There's no more frustration. Because in reality, the problem isn't that he won't listen. The problem is that nobody has ever really showed you how to speak to the part of your man's heart that longs to love you, right? We think that we're doing everything right, but we're actively causing harm to the relationship without realizing it at all. So when you shift from correcting him to connection with him, everything changes, right? Sometimes even within minutes. Now, I have watched this work again and again and again, just miracle after miracle. Of course, it's not really a miracle, it's just the way that men and women are designed to be loved. So, for example, one client I worked with, Elizabeth, said, quote, I had no idea that I was hurting my marriage by trying to help. But once I shifted my words, he apologized to me, reached for me, and we've been closer ever since, end quote. Another client told me, he hasn't looked at me this way in 10 years. End quote. Like something new and deep and profound and beautiful is all of a sudden happening as a result of this shift, right? Even couples who were separated, living in different households, have reunited when the wife makes this shift, right? And it isn't magic, right? It's the simple, powerful truth about how men and women are actually wired for love. And when you align with it, your whole marriage begins to heal. It becomes easy. It becomes passionate. It becomes fun and beautiful and intimate. So imagine, what if you could share your heart and all of a sudden, like your husband is truly listening? He's tuning in for you. He reaches for your hand, right? He shows that he is loving you, right? Not out of obligation, but because of desire, right? Because he's attracted to you, because he wants to show you the depths of his love for you, right? So, what if you could just stop trying to manage or fix your relationship by trying to tell him what he needs to change and instead just like peacefully rest um in the peace of knowing, just I know how to call forth his tenderness, having the confidence that you know how to do that. And this is exactly what I teach inside of my program, Adored for Life. This is a step-by-step process that shows you how to speak this language of love, this psychology of intimacy, so that you can experience connection, trust, deep emotional intimacy that lasts a lifetime. So now that you've seen actually how quickly your marriage can shift when you stop focusing on what needs to change in him and instead start speaking this language that touches his innermost heart, everything's going to change for you. Okay. So I created this Adored for Life program. It's going to guide you through that transformation step by step so that you can experience this lasting peace, passion, deep emotional intimacy, and quite frankly, your husband's loving tenderness for you. I mean, don't we just love that? Of course, we love that. And you want to have it not just for a few days or once in a while or emotional roller coaster up and down, but you want it every day of your life and you want it for life. So, inside of my Adore for Life program, you'll get the signature curriculum, which is 10 powerful classes that show you exactly how to attract your husband's tender love with ease, plus a high level bi weekly coaching and weekly support to help you experience fast, lasting results. This is a high touch private group experience. So I only open a limited number of spots each month. So if what you have heard today has stirred something in your heart and you're ready to stop trying to fix him and just finally start receiving his love again, then now is your moment. Click below and apply for Adored for Life. It only takes a minute. And if you're a perfect fit, I will personally send you all the details and you can get started right away. Your marriage was never meant to be distant or hard or heavy. You were made to be adored for life. That's your birthright. God bless you, and I hope to see you inside.